All right. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. This is your girl, Crystal Jordan or Crystal XO. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys have had an amazing week. My week has been interesting to say the least, but the best part about it is I am here. You are here. We are we are all here. And you know who else is here? Scorpio Moe is here. Let me bring Scorpio Moe in the building. Scorpio Moe is here. You always have a little, there's you always bring positivity. So I'm gonna need that tonight,
Yes.
Scorpio Moe. I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need a little bit of your Scorpio Moe positivity tonight. What's going on with you?
Oh man, living life one day at a time. That's simple. We here. We
We're
here.
here. We're here.
Hey,
We're
hey,
here.
what your screen is very bluish. I
Is
noticed that
it?
last time. It's
You
like a
know,
blue. Do you got the light? You have a blue light or something?
I do not have a blue light, but you know what I did? What I tried to do, hold on. What I tried to do.
Oh shoot. Did she just get clicked off, y'all? I think she might have hit the wrong button, everybody. But hey, we are here. It's Friday. Y'all know what it is. Um, Oh man, we're gonna get into it. First of all, happy Friday, happy weekend, everybody out there. Second of all, do not forget tomorrow night is our event. Tomorrow evening is our event. Love Connection XO here in Atlanta, Georgia. If you are here, please pull up on us. The name of the venue is called ATL on College Street in downtown College Park. One street over from Main Street.
All right,
So
I'm back.
there we go.
I'm back. And what happened, guys? I tried to get another camera to make the um the screen look better, and obviously that was not it. So yeah, this I anything I do this week is not working.
You
Um,
you you
so
you're sounding slightly muffled.
mm, yep.
Slightly. It ain't a super big deal. Just it sounds a little different.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you go. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I tried to get another camera, but it looks like that one has a I don't know. I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out. But I am here, you are here, we are here.
Yes, we
Tomorrow
are.
is our big day. And you know what? I have another testimony I want to share a little bit. A little bit. I think it's all, we're family. This is
Okay.
what we do. Um, I have had an interesting week. Thank you. I'm good. Thanks. I appreciate that. Whenever there's something good that happens, the devil always comes with a lot of negativity. And
Yes.
so I've had a very difficult week. But today, I have a girlfriend, one of my best girlfriends that was in my wedding. Um, well, one of my best girlfriends that was at my wedding, she was dealing with an illness. And today, she rang the bell to finish her radiation treatments. She is cancer free. So, you know what? And whatever I am going through, whatever anybody out there is going through, just know that God has us all. And for her to go through that today and to share with me that she rang the bell, it just really put, whatever I'm going through with in perspective, because at the end of the day, um, whatever you're dealing with, trust me, someone else is going through something probably even worse. And it was hard for me to watch her go through that, but seeing
Mhm.
her in a better space is made my day. Made my day.
God
So
is good. God is
God
good.
is good. God is good. So you guys give some love to my girlfriend. Um, you know, there's a lot of us that have dealt with cancer. You guys know I'm a cancer survivor. So I know exactly what she was going through. But she is healed, and she is in remission, and I'm so proud of her. And Amanda, your friend, will beat this as well. We just have to really hold
Yeah.
each other down. So I just wanted
Power
to,
in prayer. Believe it.
yes, the power of prayer and just positivity. And sometimes you just need perspective, prayer, positivity, and perspective,
Mm.
you know? Um, So, with that being said, let's get into tonight's show. I do want to say this about this show. And you know what? Before we get into the family empire, we do have a little business too, a little housekeeping that we want to do. we do want to let people know before we get into the positivity of the family empire. Here we go. OWN is casting again for the Never Ever Mets. And basically, this is the ad that you can apply here. If you are talking to someone online you've never met in person, and you want to be on television, and you want to be on OWN, this is an opportunity because you can go to www.b as in boy, m as in Mary, p as in Paul, casting.com and casting.com and then backslash never met. And you can apply to be on the next season of the Never Ever Mets. So yeah, so I don't know if any of our XO family is into that. But if you are, first of all, if you are, know that we will talk about you. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Family or not, we will talk about you. But yeah, I do want to make sure that we know that our family knows that they can apply.
Are we gonna make that announcement tomorrow too?
We're going to make that announcement tomorrow. And then we also have tomorrow, if you come out to our event, if you want to be on reality TV,
Yep.
no judgment. You can bring your picture. You can bring like a headshot and some information, and we'll actually have some printed out copies of the questionnaire for another reality show. The only stipulation for this one is you have to be in Atlanta. So obviously, with the Never Ever Mets, that is for our nationwide family because they will fly people from different places that want to do that. But for this particular show that we are helping with the casting for on tomorrow, you do need to be in Atlanta. So, yeah, I had to get that out the way before we get into tonight's episode of Family Empire. And I also want to say, yes, Monica, you are correct. Actors and actresses are encouraged to apply.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. God's desire says if anyone wants to polish their acting skills, they can apply for the Never Ever Mets. And you saw what not to do last season, so there should be no excuse.
There you go.
Yeah. That being said, I'm gonna let Mo take it away. Let's get into tonight's episode of Family Empire.
Oh man, let's do it. You know what? I thought the separation was going to probably be with the family. What was it, Brendan? What is it?
Brennan family.
Brendan family. With like amongst like the ladies and whatever. Nah, the quarrel and the drama is going to be from the outsiders.
Yeah.
I see it. I kind of said it before, and I thought it was just going to be just to the husbands. But as we see, it's going to be to, well, it still might be to the husbands, if I'm not correct.
I was going to ask you, after the story that you shared with many of us that tuned in on Wednesday.
Oh, Lord.
If you were to have to just pick between Caramel and Keisha, which one would have been had her hat like?
I'm glad you said that.
Her hat. Like,
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I will take.
Who do you think is tip in the relationship?
That is funny, by the way. I would give it to Caramel, and you know why? I was confused at first, but there was something they said.
Give it to us.
They said when you propose. And I was like, well, I assume the man is going to propose, so it have to be Caramel because what's the name said it to Caramel, Keisha. So I was like, okay, I was confused at first. I didn't know who to pin the tail on, but I know now.
Not who to pin the tail on. Let me ask you this, because I thought one of the things that I think Jermisha said, I wasn't sure which sister said, was that Caramel seemed like Keisha's accessory.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, because I've heard I do know women have men as accessories, right? And then obviously we know that stereotypically the whole idea of arm candy and all that has usually been towards a man having a woman as arm candy. But I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you think in today's society, and you guys in the chat can let us know as well, Who is more likely to have an accessory? Is it, which gender is more likely to want a mate that is an accessory? A lot of powerful women, right, enjoy having men that are like, the got the right house, the right car, the right dog, the right man, right? But as we know, often men, they want a piece of arm candy. So, which one do you think, in this day and time, is more likely to have an accessory?
Whoever has the bread.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's
That's
good.
the only way it makes
That's
sense.
good. That's good. That's good. That's true.
Who has the bread, the other person is the accessory.
Oh wow. So now in this situation, it said that Keisha was the one that wanted Caramel as, yes, that's Seagram's Escape. Caramel as the accessory. And from what I understand, Caramel is the one that has the money. She is a real estate agent, which is weird that Keisha would find a mate that works in the same
Yeah. I thought
field. I'm
yeah.
like, is Houston full of real estate agents? What in the world?
Well, Atlanta sure is, so I would suppose.
Another black town. Another good thing, we did learn a stat tonight. I don't know if that's true, but we did learn that there are 6% of real estate agents are of color, black, or black. I thought it was interesting because I do know quite a few here in Atlanta. um, so I thought that was an interesting statistic. But I do want to say this: I know that from working in politics, there's a huge disconnect between home ownership and the African American community and others. So if there are black real estate agents, are does their clientele represent their demographic? So because we know that there are not as many African Americans that own their own homes, right? And that's due to a number of reasons that are not our fault. Um, is it harder being a black real estate agent for that reason? And is it easy to be able to break out of your own demographic when you're selling a house?
I would assume so, because most of the people I know that have the license, it was a real big thing in the '90s, mid to late '90s, and
Mhm.
like every other woman I meet, they were doing that, but then they had a regular job. It was something they got to
Yeah.
try to, transition into something else. And good for them. But at the same time, I think we're looking at like these popular cities with the black population, Atlanta, so on and so forth. Uh, Obviously Houston, but when you think about the world, you know
Yeah.
what I mean,
That's
and
true.
us being in Atlanta, what did they say, 75% black, something like that?
What?
What is the black ratio in Atlanta?
Oh, in Atlanta. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I know in the world.
because Houston's bigger than Atlanta. They got more black people.
Let me look up the
But I say that to say it might look impressive here, but outside of here and going in the suburbs and moving further out where you're at, I would say no.
well, I would, what's interesting. Um, I think that the more times representation is really, really important, right? So Monica said her agent was black. My real estate agent was black, but when I lived in Oklahoma, my real estate agent was not black. So um, I would say that when you have the option, it does make it feels good when there is an option, but the reality is there are a lot of cities where you don't have that option,
Do
right?
you
So
care?
say it again.
Do you care?
I did, like I said, I felt comfortable. I did. I feel comfortable, and I didn't even realize it how much it makes a difference for me until like my vet is black, right? Um, my vet is black. My dentist is black. My OBGYN is black.
Well, here I get it.
Right, but I'm saying though, it makes me feel
Okay.
comfortable. And I didn't even realize it. This is gonna sound like a silly story, but I started training again with my horse, right? And I trained to do a certain type of discipline. And the trainer that I had before was white, and she said that she was gonna send another trainer to me. And I remember feeling, because I feel like when there's a white person specifically, more even so than another minority, I have to like wonder, how is this going to be? Am I going to have to, you know, am I going to have to speak a different, talk to them in a different way, right? Am I going to have to put on my
Code switch.
overly proper crystal and all that? And so but I was gonna, I didn't think, there's usually not a lot of horse trainers that are not black, that are black, especially just in dressage. Like that's not even a thing. So I was nervous, and I remember thinking like, it's gonna be a young white girl that I don't have anything in common with, that I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm fine to do that, but am I gonna have to code switch? Exactly, DeQueasy. And so when the girl showed up and she was black, I was like, I just felt myself, and this is all subconscious. This is not a conversation I'm having with myself consciously. I was just like wondering, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to bond with this trainer? Because that's a big part of being able to be successful. And when the girl showed up and she was, I felt a sense of relief. And then I was like, dang, Christal, is it that bad to where that's such a big deal? But it makes you feel more comfortable, to me, when it's someone that you don't have to get through one layer. I'm not like every black woman I meet, but at least we have something, and we're starting from a commonality, right? As opposed to not. So I do think it matters. And I do think, specifically, as we know, that when it comes to home ownership and real estate agents, there have been so many cases where we know that white real estate agents have not offered black clients the best options. They have, like, there's a lot of things that have come up. They have not tried to get the best mortgages and mortgage loans and things like that for black clients. So I think, not saying that a black agent is going to do the best, but at least you feel like you don't have to get over one hurdle, all, from the gate. Does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense. But to me, there is a flip side.
Exactly. Speak on it. Speak on it.
Unfortunately, there are some of our people. Let's just say you had a real estate agent show you a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to see about 3 or 4 homes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, do you mind if I stop by the on our way to the other home? I stop by the hair care hair supply.
Would that happen?
And then while she get in there, she sit in her car, she arguing with her baby daddy.
Has that happened to you before?
No, stuff. What I'm saying it is, we have it happen, and I'm just gonna say it. Some people gonna get mad. I really don't care. Black people have the worst customer service.
We do. Because a lot of times, you're right, because a lot of times you take advantage of the fact.
That's the point.
Take advantage of.
I just like for you to handle business, black, white. I would love to give it to you if you show me something. I just don't want you to be borderline. We're so cool that you feel like you can't take the necessary steps to show me everything that you're supposed to show me.
Oh, I like that. Private person said, I understand, Mo, familiarity breeds contempt. Man, I wish we could just, can you give it a hand clap or something, man?
Yeah, and that's the part. I would love to, but I've seen it on both sides, man, and I don't like to. I told you before, black people gave me probably maybe just as much opportunity, but you know what? The white people paid me more. And then I had it the other way around. Well, the brother would have paid me, but I'm not gonna say my government name, but it got me through a lot of doors.
Yeah, we both have names that are able to code switch well.
And I see how people treat me, especially here, because of how do I say this? Especially here, and they're like, they treat me like, hey, you're it's different.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to figure out a way to say it because I don't want to offend anyone here, but then again, like I said, I've seen black people pull me to the side and be like, hey, you're supposed to get this, and this, and they're not telling you. So it's an individual thing with me.
It is. And his name is not Maurice, because that would not be a code switching. That name is definitely not one that you can code switch very well.
No, I got $20 cash app. Somebody can guess my real name.
Oh, so that means you're going to put it out there.
No, well, I'll put it out there if they get it right.
All right, y'all go ahead. Well, I did look up the stat, and oh my gosh, this y'all, my strap broke on my You know what? I wonder if we can do this. Let's do
What
this
the
on this side. I'm sorry. Hey, the ladies understand. My strap is not working on
oh,
that side.
Lord
I'm
have mercy.
sorry. Okay. I just have to pull the hair on that side. All right, y'all. I am sorry, but the strap broke. Um. All right. 48% African American in Atlanta. 22% in Houston.
Wow, it's that low. Oh,
22%. But
hold on.
I think what happens in
What?
Houston is they're all in the same place. They're all together, right? They're all huddled up. But in it's really, I mean, and Texas is big. Texas is
Right.
a big place. So it's only 22% percent
What?
African
I'm
American.
shocked
Yep.
at that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. 48% in Atlanta. And it feels like, isn't it weird that at 48%, it feels like 75%
Yeah,
or 80%?
that number was I thought was a little low too. Because this is the first place I've ever seen. I'm going to the bank. I see us. I see white people in passing.
But that's because but I also have been places where I was when I went to go get sugar pies groomed, I there, this area there were none of us there, right? So it just kind of depends on what area you are in, and there it is very segregated, right? It's very segregated.
Here,
Yeah, yeah. You don't
not
think
in
so?
Atlanta. Atlanta, the suburbs might be separated, but
This is
Atlanta,
Atlanta, Virginia Highlands. You go out Virginia Highlands.
there are black people. A lot of them.
They're not near her, not near her. And I mean, the streets were packed.
Okay.
And I went into this boutique to get a gift, and I mean, I was the only one in there. They were clear that this was not where I would, it was very different. But I do think that I remember going to high school, and at my high school, we had 45% African American, and they called it a black school, right? But it wasn't majority black. It was a large percentage of black students, but it was not a majority black. But when there's a large percentage like that, it feels that way. It's almost like the one drop rule. A person can be one drop black and we call them black, but they really are not black. They're really all the other things, but it's kind of like that. I think when it comes to communities, if you have 30% African American in a community, because it's such a concentrated number, it just seems like a black community. But the reality is, it's not. It's not black. So Atlanta is 48% black, which means it's not even half. Just about, but not quite half. Uh oh, not your government name is Kyle. Saw y'all on the Portia show a few weeks ago. Mina got you. You owe Mina $20 on Cash App.
First of all, um, damn, why
It was on the Portia show. I mean, it can't be a secret. It was on a Portia
it
show.
was it was on the damn Porsche, so wasn't it? Damn.
Yeah. And I get
All
that,
right,
give
all
that
right.
lady her money.
Put your cash app.
Give her her coins.
Yeah, put your cash app up. God.
Give her her coins.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the show. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, so my thing is the separation from I'm seeing the men being the that side. That's where the rift comes in more than anything. And with the family, it's just going to be a house thing. But everything what to do with it, but everything's going to be all right at the end. I'm sorry. Good.
I don't know. It seemed like it's a other because they gave Caramel the same or Caramel the same energy that they give husbands.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
well, I'm considering her a husband at this point.
I wish I had that line. You could tell us. You could tell us TIP by how I bend my hat. That is funny. So one of the things I wanted to bring up even before that was the conversation with Nicole and her mom. And again, Mo, check out Mina's Cash App. It is Mina Says.
Wait, hold up.
Please send
Sit up there. I'm trying to screenshot.
run her coins.
I'm gonna try to do it right now while we on. Good.
Run her coins. So the conversation with Nicole and her mom, I thought that was crazy because it's we need to dig deep, right? Let's dig on into that. So Nicole and her sister Keisha are a couple of months apart.
Right.
That means the dad was on some I don't know. What do we want to say that when the man is doing some, there's some whorish behavior
He,
happening.
we, he tipped out on the woman. He
That's
tipped.
whorish behavior.
You wouldn't say that she tipped out on him.
I would too. I'm an equal opportunity whorish behavior. Uh, yes, I would.
Okay, well,
Yes, I would.
yeah,
And
yeah, I see.
we all have the ability to be whorish, right? Men and women. He was a philanderer. I like that. Let's call that. He was a philanderous man.
Just, I
Not
never
to be
knew that.
mistaken with philanthropist.
Okay, right.
Philanderer. So, but did you see the mother? It was just such an interesting scene because the mother wanted to share her story, and the daughter could not empathize with the mother because it is her father. And I think we talk about on here a lot of times mothers and fathers, and how it's so difficult for mothers and fathers to navigate the relationship with the child without sharing their own pain. Nicole did a great job of saying, I know my mother needs to be heard,
Did I
but
like?
I can't do that for her. I just don't want to hear about it. And I thought this was a great teachable moment for us because I think that Nicole's mother still deserves to be heard, but you cannot go to your child about the heartbreak that their father, unleashed upon you, right?
Right.
And that feels very, it's a really delicate thing. But I think that we have to talk. That's something I wanted us to talk about because we've talked about how unfair it is when mothers, weaponize the children against the father. But I think in that saying that, we have to acknowledge that the mother's hurt has to be acknowledged.
I got a question. Does her last name begin with an N? I want to say her whole last name.
Mina says, does your last name begin with an N?
Because I just want to make sure I'm sending it to the right person. I think
And
this.
Mina says all one word.
No, but it just says that once you do that, it says the real name up
All
top.
right, she's gonna let us know. She's all right. Mina is talking to us about everybody else. But we got to hear. Is your last name start with a what?
An
What mom?
N.
An N. All right. Let us know in the chat. She says everybody deserves to be heard, no matter what their age. Her mother has probably been holding that inside her for 40 years. And yes, her last name does start with an N.
All right, that's her. Okay, cool.
So I agree with you. Oh, no, 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 not the grasshopper in the house. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. One of y'all need to go run and get that grasshopper. Oh, the dog's just sitting up here and ain't nobody trying to get the grasshopper. It's a
No man,
grasshopper.
my word, Mina.
All right. I'm sorry. I just got distracted by the grasshopper. I do think that her mother has been holding that in, but I think the mother probably needs to go to therapy. That's what I thought when I looked at the mother's face, because you saw that there's still a lot of pain there.
Yeah, yeah.
And can we just say this? Can we just say this? And I want you to speak to this, Mo. I don't think that men understand how much it hurts when a woman is cheated on. Like, I don't think men really understand that pain. Do you see the pain in that woman's face now? And that happened over 40 years ago. The man is deceased, but it's still hurtful. What are you doing with the switching out of the glasses?
Because it's my reading glasses. She got it. I just wanted to make sure. She said thank you. It's my reading. Hey, you know I'm oh I need reading glasses. It's my reading glasses. Good.
But you keep switching back into the cool guy glasses.
Okay. Because these are just for reading. Anyway, yes. I think they know. I just think like I always say, I just think it's an extremely selfish act. And you don't really but you don't dive deep. And maybe, obviously her mother is holding on to the pain, but the child, she's a grown woman now. Like that's still her dad. And that's between y'all.
Yeah, but let's just go into this family, right? Let's just go into this
Between
episode.
y'all. That ain't between
It is between them, but Nicole is a product of them. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a strange dynamic to create a child, right? And that child is one half the mother and one half the father. And then to say, well, this is this has nothing to do with you, but really everything with those two people in that relationship
Yeah, yeah.
affects you.
It does, but she still loves her dad, obviously.
No, no, no. And I'm not saying that we're just talking about it. I'm just saying she definitely does. But there's and she should. I'm just saying I understand that it's difficult and we want to offer some
Yeah, yeah,
some type of resolution. I feel like watching the mom, you could tell she was in pain. And I hope that she would I hope she would go to therapy because I do think she needs to be heard. But I
How
also,
many years ago was this?
that's what I'm saying. I can't stand when y'all do that.
No, no, I'm asking for. I'm not
He was
asking. No,
obviously the girls are in their 40s.
no, no. I'm asking to see if she had another relationship after that.
We don't know that yet. We're just getting to know these
Yeah,
people.
yeah. That's the only reason I'm asking. Because I'm like, okay, if that happened then, and did she end I don't know the backstory. Did she end the relationship after that? Did she still stay with him?
Got to get to know more. We got to hope
Right.
we get to know
So we
more.
we talking. I don't want to say too much because I don't know.
Well, I believe the dad is deceased. But that just
So
proves
the dad wasn't the dude in the house on the first episode?
I don't think so.
I thought he was the bald head guy. I could have swore he was.
Hold on. Well, we saw a picture of him when he was younger. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know if it's going to share
I
that.
thought her mother died, but he was still living. I thought he was in the house. He's the son of Oscarine.
That is her son, right? Let's see. There's a family tree that they gave us from
Yeah, it
OWN.
had to be the son because that's how they became. That's why Oscarine's her grandmother.
Right. Hold on.
I thought Buddy was still living. I thought he was at the house. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Well, of course we're about to look it up.
Yeah, Frank Jr. Okay. I can't see if he's still alive. Hold on, let's see.
I thought he was still alive.
One of y'all can let us know.
I thought he was in the house. I remember them hugging him and everything.
All right. Well, then we need to know what was going on with Frank Jr. then.
Yeah, that's why I was like, well, that's why I wanted to know, like, was that a one night stand? Did they get back together? Were they all? Did she move on and get with somebody else? Like, I'm just trying.
Well, I do know that Nicole said that she was not. He was not a very good communicator.
Oh, that was him there.
Mm-hmm.
That was him at the house. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Because Oscarine had 3 girls and a boy, right?
Yep. Hold on.
But yeah, interesting dynamic.
I hope we get to know more of this because I feel like this is something that a lot of families deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also what's between the girls because the mom obviously is still hurt. No. And the daughter is trying not to go there, but I think it's hard not to have your mom's back at some point, right? It's just hard. It's hard. The father is alive. We know the grandfather is deceased, and everybody was in love with the grandfather.
Right.
And yes, Nicole's mother did have another child with him, Monet. So because that's her sister her Monet and Nicole have the same mom.
Right. That's when she said she had a sister that was like her best friend.
So the mom and the dad stayed together. He just had a child outside of the marriage.
There you go.
And we talked about last week how that happens a lot,
Yeah. Oh, it happens a lot less now. It happened a whole bunch back then.
Yeah, it did. But let me tell you this. This is the crazy thing. And I think we have to address this also. Just because a woman stays after a man has stepped out, that does not mean that she's okay with it. That does not mean
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that just the way that her mom looked, you could tell that everything that she's holding in proves that she's still hurt. She still has a lot of hurt there. And I think
she has if she's around, she has a reminder.
I don't know if he could have cheated while she was pregnant with Nicole because Nicole and Keisha are like a couple months apart. That would be rough.
He shot the club
It
thing,
felt like he was cheating.
week or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like that would not even. It would have to have been. It could have been before and during, because for them to be so close in age, he would have had to get them pregnant within months of each other. Probably even before she knew she was pregnant.
Right. Possibly. That's tough. When I see cats, I don't see it anymore, but I did coming up, and I'd be like, "Yo, you wilding!" Like, how you?
You know what? The reality is they were pregnant at the same time. So like he was cheating, but I'm saying he probably had to be cheating before he got both of them pregnant. But the thing about it is, when a man is sleeping with multiple women,
yeah,
they're, because sex is such a I'm not going to say, I think it's spiritual, but even beyond that, it's just, it's so tied into our genetics and how our bodies work. A man can be sleeping with 3 women, and those 3 women's bodies will sync up. So they all start to ovulate at the same time. You ever wonder how come this always happens and a man ends up? I had a friend in high school who got 3 women pregnant at the same time. They all had babies within months of each other, right? And it almost weeks. It was pretty wild. But the reality is that is what happens when a man is sleeping with multiple women. A lot of times the man will be fine, but the women's bodies will sync up, or the women's bodies will start to react to another woman's essence being put inside her. So all the times women are like, my pH balance is off, it's because, and a man doesn't, you can sleep with 3 different women, but what will happen is when you sleep with those 3 different women, those 3 women will have a response. Their body will have a response to another woman's essence being, shared with her. I'm trying to put this in the most etiquette way as possible, but it's difficult for women to deal with, and it's not healthy at all. So, because if it was, it wouldn't cause you to get sick.
See, fellas, we should learn from this. We do have some kind of power. We're misusing it, obviously.
What power do you have?
You just said it.
The power to destroy us?
Well, I mean, that's one way of looking. That's one way. I wasn't going there, but that is one way. But I'm just saying, you're triggering all these things with these women, and you can get them in sync. Like, that's powerful, but it's wrong. I'm just saying this. That's because it's power doesn't mean it's a good thing, but that's powerful. So like 3 different women don't know each other. They could be in 3 different states, and you could have slept with them all at whatever time. And you're telling me that their stuff can link up. That's not powerful. I didn't say it was right. I said it was powerful.
It is powerful.
That's it. It ain't right. Use your power for good, fellas.
Tell us how we can do that, Mo. How can men use their power for good?
I can tell you how y'all, but we're gonna stick with us because I said use our power. And
yes, we can. Women, I think women should. We should come up with how we can use our power for good.
No, y'all already came up with that. That's why some of the stuff is messed up now. No.
What?
No. Because your guys do, but you're using it all wrong. But
first of all, Pajama Mo, relax. Wait.
Y'all could
relax, Pajama Mo.
Y'all could start and stop a lot of things and create movements by just your attention. But it's what you put your attention on. For instance, I'll give you an example. If a line of women stood outside of a club, right? Mm-hmm. And they all paid attention to this Volkswagen Beetle that pulled up, right? Do you know what the dealership would look like the next day after the guy said all the women oohing and ahhing and paying attention to that? That's power. So a lot of the stuff that we do.
Are you saying that you want us to use our power to
no, I'm saying is we cater to what your attention is to. You could, whether it's our haircuts, whether it's it's a song on Jay-Z and R. Kelly's first album that they did, the R&B album. It was called "The Power of the SSY." Yes. Why I think dudes get haircuts and try to dress fly. That's power. the guys in the guys in the 80s in the crack era, if women would have accepted them working at the fast food restaurant and was on them like they were on the guys hustling, guys wouldn't have hustled. That's power. And what
Mo,
I'm saying is, but if you're like using it to get a purse or to get over, I'm saying you could. Spike Lee had a movie about that Chirac movie. It was a whack movie, but he
oh,
was just saying the women withheld sex to guys to put the guns down. It was a metaphor, but I'm saying you're gonna blow it off. But I'm trying to tell you, women.
I'm not blowing it off, but I want us to start with how can men use their power for
No,
good.
you said I'm gonna get to that, but you said, well, how the women? I just showed you how it could be done. Now, as
But you
for
use the PW. Okay, all right.
you would have to tell us what. Okay, where do our power lies in you? I just told you where your power lies in us.
Well, I mean, I think we can stick to the same, the same script,
Okay.
right? Because like men go out of their way to reward and chase and idolize whores.
Hot
And
too, like that.
what did you just do? What is wrong with you?
You
Men,
know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. I do. And I'm sure everyone else does as
And
well.
see how she went viral?
But Mo,
And I've seen a lot of black women comment, well, no, y'all weren't saying that. And I'm not saying y'all want to do it,
that
but
is
it was
not what I am
everybody
talking
go
about.
viral
I am
following
sorry.
behind what that girl did.
Him. Get him. Y'all get him. My point is men worship and idolize whores. And then
I wouldn't say that.
wait, and then they get upset when whores treat them badly, right? But then when they have a good woman, a lot of times they do not appreciate her. So I would say, and it's one you cannot say that. Oh, I'm gonna like Delicious Page, and I'm gonna like yes, Nola Darling, to be a whore, not to be one. In the words of our good sis Jasmine Sullivan, you gonna bring the hoe out of me. You gonna make me be a hoe. Like men make you feel like they will worship you and they will treat you better if you are a whore, because that's the one. It's almost like they don't want to be treated right. They want to be lied to. They want to be cheated on. They want to be hurt. And when a woman tries to have their back, so into them, do things with their children, they don't appreciate that. All of a sudden, it's like, I don't want that. They really want the woman that. Now, I'm not saying all men, but I'm saying when you look at the way you all are liking these girls, Kim Kardashian is a woman that so many black men have souped. I mean, she can get any black man she wants. And she has not shown us anything besides her being a whore. But
Can let me ask you something? Uh, 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 and I'm just, how do I say this?
say it.
You can learn from a whore. What, you ever stop to think, why are they from a whore, instead of saying that?
See, Mo, okay, this is the thing. This is the thing, though. You said
The one thing that they do, how come you won't do that?
You said, and that was the hot tui?
Anything.
Mo,
because what we say we like, they're doing.
But you said, how can men use their power? Stop celebrating whores. That's how I believe you can use your power. Because guess what? Yes, you do like that, but they don't raise your family. They don't do a good job with your and no disrespect to any whores that are watching. No disrespect.
Hey, whores.
I hate you.
Listen, my thing is,
but then you get mad when they're not good mothers, when they don't want to embrace your children, when they want to fight with your kid. Like you get mad at all of that. But and then you realize, you remember when Tyga and not Robert Kardashian, what's the
I know you're talking about Rob
Kardashian?
They
were disgusted that Blac Chyna was not a good mother. Are you surprised? Did you expect her to be? Did she show you that she was gonna be a good mother?
And no. They deserve that, because they should have known.
So you only like the good whores?
No, I only like the one thing from the whore. They can keep the rest of it. Give me about an hour and go about your business. What I'm saying is, that's all it is for a smart man. And these other guys that don't know, If you ain't have a daddy or your man in your life to tell you ain't supposed to be settling down with these ladies, you're supposed to be keeping it moving.
Hey man, this is a new day. These new men are marrying, wifing up,
And you
and
see what's happening to them.
and
This is the lack of fathers
they're
in the
like, oh
house.
my goodness, she's not a good mother.
This is the lack of fathers in the house, man. This is why you got to be in your son's life. You see what these dudes are doing. This is one of the reasons right here. Guidance.
You know what? But you know how much of a contradiction you just said. You basically started out by saying, "Hey, whores." I
No,
love
because they do serve a purpose. Damn it, I'm gonna say it. Damn it, I'm gonna say it. They serve a purpose.
let's get back to the let's get back to
That's all they serve.
the family empire.
All right. What
Not too
about
much. I mean, it said not too much on Black China. She's saved now, and in Black China's defense,
all
bless her
dogs
heart.
get saved at the end? All dogs go to heaven. All dogs get they do.
All dogs go to heaven.
You go to church right now, it's a bunch of whores from the 80s. Church right now. It is. I'm sorry, but it's true.
That is hilarious. All dogs go to heaven.
Yes.
It came off the cuff. That was good. I give it to you. That was good. On both sides.
Yes.
Both sides. Because players, I don't know if players turn into.
No, you know what?
They do.
You know what the old pimps turn into? Pastor.
They do. They do.
That's what I'm saying.
Because then they want somebody to love them after they done been for the streets all their life. They get in their 60s and they start having ED and their money is run out. And now I just want a woman to love me.
Right.
Negro, please. Ain't nobody want that.
Can we talk about Chris?
Let's do it.
I'm
so sorry, y'all. We won't stay.
I'm sorry we got on this rant. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I feel that man is not happy.
Why do you think he's not happy?
I just his energy. Now his wife is not sticking up for him enough, though. That's my problem.
She feels overwhelmed by her family.
She is scared of Nicole.
Everybody is scared of Nicole, first of all.
Why?
Because she's very straightforward and very authoritative. She just takes control. And I think that those personalities, a lot of times, y'all in the chat are silly. A lot of times those personalities are they kind of overwhelm less, aggressive personalities. But I feel like he had to know that from the time that they were dating.
No, he did. And I think you put up with certain things and try to make it through and it's tough when it's predominantly female family. It can be really tough. But my thing is, I would want my wife to hold it down for me. She don't, man.
I don't think she can, but I think that's their dynamic. I think he's known that from the beginning. She can't do nothing again. Now, this is my thing. Why don't he just leave the family alone?
I think they're just so that this is. I'm glad you said that. It's embedded in the fabric of all that. Anytime, I noticed this too. Anytime a family talking about we're the such and such, be careful. Walk slow. Walk slow. She ain't never going to change her name to your name. If not, she's going to break. I'm telling you, fellas, watch out for. And it could be men too. It ain't even fellas. Cause I know someone that's like that, and we're the such and such. And it's like the people that married in got to jump on board. That's it.
I don't know that to the extent, but I do think that the family is it's more of a matriarch setup than patriarchal, right? So I do think that there's the sisters and the women in the family have a stronger bond, or at least what we see right now, than the men, right? But I also feel like they seem very traditional because everybody's married, or they all kind of expect that. Even the way they were saying they questioned Caramel about moving in and shacking up with Keisha without being married. Like, they're very traditional. So I think they feel like marriage is a rite of passage, right? But in that, aren't you supposed to prioritize your husband.
You would think.
That's what's weird. She don't even respond to it. That is weird.
I think the G1s did. I think every generation gets more watered down than the
Tell y'all
next.
something. These G2s don't give a dang. Uh, that that scene with Jermisha and Nicole, and that's the thing. I like Nicole because at least she's trying to. Somebody said earlier that she was Oscarine's favorite. She actually has Oscarine's back. Jermisha don't care. She's trying to get to the money.
She's trying to get to it.
She's trying to get to the money. Like she don't care about. Do you see the way her eyes lit up when that guy was like
10 million or
10
whatever?
million? She was like,
Yeah.
and even with her saying, well, if she does all this and gives the money to the G1s, what are they gonna do with it? Like that ain't even none of your concern. Like if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. Like I thought that was kind of wild. So I understand with Nicole saying, I want to do what my grandmother wants to do.
You
I
can
respect that.
you can only respect that. She's not my favorite, but I do respect that. I really, really do.
But do you think that the G1s taught, like we talked about last week, I don't know if they taught them, because Jermisha's attitude, like she is all about the dollar and the legacy of the family, not necessarily what the because the grandmother and the grandfather created something based on their love for their family.
Right.
But if you don't care about anything but the money, you're going to lose the legacy. You can't have the legacy without the love for the family. Don't go together.
That's very, very true. Let me ask you this. So the G1s didn't go into real estate. They just worked for the businesses.
I believe so, because it doesn't.
That's how I took it. If I'm wrong, somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, if somebody can let us know what they think. It doesn't seem like, it seemed like the G1s were just like
the G2s picked up where the grandparents left off.
Well, but with the grandparents saying, she wanted them to become real estate agents because she probably saw the opportunity that was there. What's up, Tamasha? She saw the opportunity that was there. So I think that the grandmother wanted the legacy to continue. And obviously things were much different back then when they were buying land. She probably was like, in order for our family to be able to have these type of opportunities, we got to get into real estate. She probably saw that, right? Which is why she paid for her granddaughters to go get their real estate license. But
I like that.
But I think that, I think this is something that a lot of times we do. First of all, I love this show in the fact that it's showing that there are some of us that do that. And I think what I said to myself watching this show is, I want to do something so that my kids can have something. Like I really want to be more intentional about leaving them something, right? Because I feel like that's a beautiful thing. The scene watching Oscarine come over and teach, what is the little baby's name? She was so adorable. Leighton. Teach Leighton how to make cabbage. That is priceless.
Right.
And I want to be able to, I don't know if I'll have, what is going to happen, but I want to be able to leave and have those type of memories. I don't think we always value those things now, right? So I love the fact that this show is showing that. But I also think a lot of times we think that legacy only means money. And it doesn't. That was legacy right there. That was legacy. With Oscar Reed teaching Leighton how to make cabbage. That's legacy.
There you go.
So I think sometimes we get it confused by teaching our children only about the money. And we gotta also let them know that it's about, this is who you are. And we got each other's back, because life is hard. And we got to have each other's back regardless. And that's what it feels like the G2s are missing, except for Nicole. I'm missing Nicole.
They make the men look, I don't know, I'm not feeling it.
Kind of weak.
Well, thank you. You said it. Yeah, that's it.
Why is that though? But that always happens.
Because, you know why?
No.
Because it's who produced the show?
She didn't produce. Carlos,
no, I'm not talking about Oprah.
Carlos King.
And there you have it. So now I'm gonna
Give
go
me in
to
trouble,
another show.
Carlos.
I'm gonna go to
Not,
another show produced by someone from that community.
don't you get me in trouble, Carlos King.
No, no,
Don't
I'm just
do
saying.
it.
Um, the Andy dude,
Andy Cohen.
and you see how they don't pay the men on there, but they use the men as props, and they say they gotta be housewives, but or they did at one point, but I don't personally like that. I just think that we create we can go on to somebody else that produces movies and do all that stuff too here in Atlanta and do the same thing. It criminalize the makes the men look real bad. But in this case, these
Oh,
two reality shows,
I know
I,
you're talking about.
I don't feel it. They make the men look weak.
Man, that's deep. You know what I say? My goal is to write for TV. And I'm actively working towards that goal in 2026, right? And I say that, part of why I love this show that we do together is because I wanted to have a guy that, number one, I wanted him to get a real man, what I feel like is a real man, and that energy, right? Because that energy doesn't just cater to whatever a woman wants. It stands up and it's empowered and it's leadership energy. And I think that we need to see that on television, right? I would just say that. So I think that when those of us that have the desire to write, we have to write stories that are our entire experience. And not everybody has had an experience of a man that was a womanizer or a man that was weak and did not have leadership qualities.
And I'm not saying
So
guys don't exist. They all of them exist. But my thing is, we can't keep showing.
we can't only show. Now, Monica made a good point. And my mom and my grandmother would say this, and I struggle with this to this day. I struggle with this. So I'm being honest. And I want to see what you say. Monica Singleton said, Christal, they said they could have a new man, but family is forever. Unfortunately, Mo, it's kind of hard, not to think that way when you've seen so many men bail out, right?
Right.
So it does feel like family is forever, but a man can come and go. My grandmother told me a man is, hey, he can come and go. He can. My grandmother had a dog named Peppy, and when her third husband, when
My
his ex,
grandmother had a dog named Peppy.
did she really?
I'm dead serious.
Wow, that's weird.
Ask Nero.
So Peppy, when Peppy did not like my Pop Pop, right? I think he's rest in peace. So Peppy did not like Pop Pop. So when when Pop Pop moved in, because my grandmother had her house, he moved in. Oh yeah, my grandmother had a third husband. My grandmother kept it moving and would move him in and move him out faster than I don't know what. But he moved in. Peppy would snarl at him and bite, and he was there for a few years, and then he moved out, and Peppy watched him leave. And my granny would laugh to me, and she said, Peppy watched him come in, and me and Peppy sat on this sofa and watched him move his stuff out because a man is just it is not a necessity. And for me, hearing that as her granddaughter, I did not want to believe that way, right? I fought very diligently not to believe that way. But as was shown to me with my first marriage, she was kind of right because a lot of men don't have the ability to stick and stay. They are not built like that. They're not. So women use for me, and my mom, my grandma, she was like, well, if he leaves, then you're gonna have to take care of them kids. If that man leaves, you have to take care of the children. If that man leaves, you have to take care of yourself. And I think that's the lesson that unfortunately as Black women we have to embrace, because there are many times when a man will leave you high and dry. And then what? If you haven't listened to your grandmother and your grandmother and your grandfather, I mean, your grandmother and your mother and your aunties, then what do? You saw me. I was high and dry, high and dry. So it's and I haven't taught my daughter that. I have not taught my daughter that, but I think my daughter saw it because she was 12 when her dad left. So I think I wish there was a solution for our community so that we could stop telling our daughters that they got to look out for themselves. But every time a woman does not and she prioritizes the relationship, it's almost like a switch goes off in a man's head to be like, I can leave her now. I got her. And we'll leave you high and dry. So what would you say to that? How do we stop that mentality when the reality is that is often what happens, and it's a response to us trying to tell our daughters to make sure that they're going to be okay?
Yeah, that's unfortunately that is a real thing. Statistics say it's gotten better, but it is a real thing. Um, I would say first thing is I never was a fan of a person. Back then I understood why they did it, but now, like, why you? How can anybody? I guess high dry emotionally, but why you stop creating, chasing your goals? Why would you get with somebody? And I'm not saying you can't put your feet up because you're supposed to have somebody back to back, but then you have dreams and aspirations. Didn't you go to college? Didn't you do these things? You don't go to college for me to take care of you. You go to college for you. So stop. Don't stop doing you. You know, a person. Now the kid thing is something totally different because you guys made these kids together.
But
And
that's, I mean, I didn't stop when I knew you.
yeah, no, you didn't. You didn't. But you know, the kid thing is probably the biggest. I don't want to say burden because I don't want to make it look like kids are burden, but the biggest thing that somebody could just abandon and leave with one person when we create this thing together. You know what I mean? That has to be tough. I just think that we have to do a better job. It's nothing we can't. It's nothing we can do about what already happened.
Facts.
We, men and women,
Right.
have to do a better job with our sons. If that's
I like that. Give yourself a hand clap for that.
if that's the case, like
Yeah.
we can complain, and I can see things in women, or women can see things in men, and what happened already happened. So
Right.
this is new generation. What are we feeding our babies, right?
Yeah.
Our young men and men, you know, because think about this: if the example of the man left, unfortunately, it's her or whatever she brings in that house that influences him,
Yeah.
or it's the streets. You know, if a lot of these young men are not occupied or don't have a dream or goal or whatever it is, there's the streets. You know, and we already know what that does. But I think it's what we feed in our babies, the information. Um, and this, I just to hear when you were saying it, like I'm just people, women I know, family members, so on and so forth, that were in that same situation. And
Mm-hmm.
then I start thinking about, okay, he was in jail. He was in jail. He got killed. He didn't have an example. He didn't have an example.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say it because I don't like to give a bunch of excuses. I like to get a solution. The only thing I can think of is we as men really have to start reaching back. Even if we messed up on at a certain point, we got to a point where we know better now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you do when you see your nephew or young man in the street? Like, we have to start talking to our young men and being more open. Like, I think we're not personable. Nobody's personable with boys. Women are all up in their girls' business.
You're
Their
right.
daughters broad size, periods.
Well, that's also because let's call a spade a spade. A lot of times we're telling our young men if they have a lot of different women that that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. We're dapping him up when he got a lot of how many girlfriends you got? We are perpetuating negative behavior. Not we as in myself or women, but it's men. Men are out there all let a player play, let him do what he's doing, and we are creating this energy in young men that makes them feel like being in love with a woman and actually being accountable is weak. So we still have to change that. That's where it starts when he's 12 or 13 and he likes a girl. Instead of telling him to go get all of them, tell him watch and stop telling him to worship and idolize sex, and instead tell him that a woman that is a good woman that he can create generational wealth and legacy with, that's who he ought to be with. You guys are telling him to go chase the. I remember when I taught school for that one horrible, dreadful year, there was a father that came in there, and he had a little boy that I adored his son, and he had another one at home. This is first grade. He had one at home that was 3. He let those boys watch the Players Club. And then he was bragging about the fact that they liked angina. And I remember being like, this is the problem. The little boy is 6. You got him worshiping whores already. And then when he goes to college and he's looking for women, he doesn't even know what a good woman looks like. He doesn't appreciate a good woman, and guarantee you he's going to dog several out, and he's going to get with women based on his sexual appetite. That's the problem. We're not teaching boys.
If we're teaching them how to be good men, that's kind of hard, because even if you start that way, your mother versus your hormones, your mother's going to lose. A lot of times.
But if your dad is telling you, son, she looks good, but
even so, a little bit with that too, because here's the thing: the worst thing you can do to a young man is tell me, "Don't be dealing with them fast girls down the street." What you think he gonna do?
I don't know. The Bible says, "Train up a child in the way he should go."
No, I'm just trying to tell you, when them hormones kick in, you could. I don't care if you take them to church every day. We know.
At least the dad is not telling him to do that. It's one thing if I understand, because girls get affected by hormones as well.
We know,
but it's not like the mother is nobody's telling their daughter that. Well, now they may be, but you don't tell your daughter to go hit as many as possible.
Right. That's why I said we have to get.
So if the father is like, now, son, I know what that looks like, and I know you like that, but I'm gonna tell you what the damage is. I remember I was doing PR for Deion Sanders' charity event. I think I told you this, and he actually had a workshop because a lot of these boys were going to the pros, right? It was an NFL a camp for boys that were very, very talented in football. This was over 10 years ago, but they did a workshop on how to deal with groupies and girls that were.
They have them in the NBA.
So my point is, I was so impressed with him because he was saying to them, this is going to look good and these girls are going to come after you, but this is the ultimate end of that. You have 3 or 4 children with different women, the check is gone. Like, and it also affects your livelihood when you are being sued and so somebody has to say that. That's what I'm saying.
No. You do, and you plant that seed, you put it there, and hopefully when he gets in contact, some of that stuff will kick in. But we have to be in these young men's business, like we in our daughter's business, like the mothers and the fathers. We need to be in their business.
Hey, I was in both my kids' business,
and the biggest thing, the thing that saved me was, even when I was going astray and doing different things, I still have a level of structure. I work better in a structured environment. You know,
a lot of guys do.
And you know, I wasn't in the military. I wasn't in any of that. My father wasn't in the, but for me, it did. But the other stuff that I was involved in was very structured. So I had to live and do things a certain way, certain times, so on and so forth. So I say that to say a lot of young men need that, especially if you don't have a father in the home.
Yeah. I don't think Hey You 7 Her 3 says seeds get uprooted by peers. I don't think so. Because I don't think so. Peers are definitely powerful. But there's and again, I'm not trying to just be overly preachy, but the Bible says, train a child up in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. We're all young and dumb, right? All of us. But at some point, if you're taught a certain way, you're probably going to come back to that, right? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's going to keep you from doing anything wrong. No, because we know hormones are probably the most powerful thing on a teenage boy. It's probably more powerful than a bullet. But if a dad has taught him that when he is going through something, he's going to remember those seeds that were planted.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
People going to have a problem. But, well, let me say this. In order for that to work, the mother got to respect the dad no matter what.
Oh, that's deep. Yes, that's true indeed.
So we can say all this, and
that
they
was deep.
And she don't like
deep.
him.
Yes.
And she don't like him. But he come to pick his son up, and he can't get visitation.
Yeah.
He can't do these things, or she don't like him.
But can I tell you
we
something?
Talk about women talk about, well, I can only be submissive to a man I respect. Well, if you don't show his father don't that his son don't see that you respect the father, he's not going to be submissive to his father.
That's true. But let me tell you something. This is what I believe. And I saw this happen when I was in college. When I was in college, I was dating this guy. And I was a freshman or a sophomore.
Right.
I was a sophomore. And he was a senior at another college that was close to ours, right? So, I had a little older guy. I was feeling myself, he was kind of cute, but he was like the president of the Kappas, right? And he was extremely just good grades, a leader, right? And I was very attracted to him. I was attracted to that part, not necessarily. Anyway, so he and I decided to he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes. He treated me so great. He would come get me. I would come to the dance at that school. Everybody knew that was his girlfriend. It was great. But he actually came to me one night, and it felt like Usher's confessions, because he was like, we have to break up. I have to tell you something. And it is because he had a girl pregnant, right? Now, this is the story, and I will never forget this, and I have so much respect for him. This is what this guy did at 21. He said, I have to focus on my child's mother. And he said, I'm going to therapy because I don't know how I can possibly get along with her. But I had a test done, and it's my son. This guy had been in an issue with he and a group of guys had ran a train on a girl. And the girl wanted to do it. So he didn't force her.
That's normally how trains go.
I didn't know that because I've never been a part of one. But he said the girl signed up, wanted to do it. She wanted to sleep with all the Kappas, and they did. They all got tested. It ended up being his daughter, his son, right? Oh. So he was disgusted. But he said, the best thing that I can do, because she's going to have my son, I have to learn how to interact and positively communicate with his mother. He started going to therapy and anger management because he said she would drive him crazy. We broke up. He went to anger management. The girl had his baby, and they didn't get together, but he didn't want her to deal with the fact that he was with another girl while she was pregnant. I respected him, but he said that the therapist told him the best gift that a man can give their child is to show the mother respect. So what I would say is this, and I tell my son this, I know a lot of men don't want to hear this. It sounds disgusting to them. If you have a child with a woman and you hurt that woman, you have in essence hurt that child. And it is your responsibility to fix that woman, to work with that woman so that she's not walking around hurt. Yes, you may have to hear her cry. Oh, well, that's part of it. That's part of life. You have to figure out how to interact with that woman in a positive space. That is your job. That is your job. Because as the man that child is growing in that woman's belly, if that woman is disgusted with you, if you are disrespecting her, that is passed down to your child. So what you need to do, yes, I understand. It's like men get very angry with women they have children with. It is your job to figure out how to interact and communicate with her in the most positive way that you can. A lot of times a woman is angry because she's hurt. And it's not because, yes, when women get hurt, we can't control our emotions, and men are disgusted.
A lot of people don't know. Yep, people have to go through that. We don't have the tools.
But I'm just saying that's what we can start to do, Mo. We are to tell God, guess what? If she's pregnant, as opposed to dogging her out,
I get that.
Put put your hormones
That's
on
grown
hold.
logic to a young man that they ain't figured out himself yet.
But
But
guess what? His daddy should know how to tell him.
no, but went back to how we initially started this. There still has to be respect for the man, for the child to respect the man.
But he
The
has to
mother has
show himself worthy of respect. He has to show himself worthy of respect.
It goes both ways. If you want him to teach that, we both can't do it. It's not just one way. It has to be both ways.
Guess what?
So
that
he
guy
can respect him all he wants, and he just got to take it, but he got to respect her.
Now, I'm telling you, we can agree to disagree. That guy, the baby's mother, of course she respected him because he went out of his way. He put himself last. He broke
last
up
on the train? Last in what?
I'm not talking about the train, Mo. I'm saying he put everything on hold. He was a cat. He put he had you
as he should.
As he should. When you have a baby, that baby should take precedence. So if you have to,
I get that.
In order to do right by that baby, do right by that woman.
So why was she cussing him out then?
This was before everything started. She was for the streets. But that's his decision. He made the decision to lay down with her. And they used a condom.
You're right. You're right.
So that was his decision. That was his decision. So when he did that, that's leadership. And yes, it's rare. That's why I was so impressed by it. Yes, it's rare. But if that 21-year-old knew how to do it, then I'm not giving everybody else a pass.
No, I get that, but I'm just trying to think, how did we get to that from if they're not together? And
I'm saying respect. You're saying the people don't respect their dad because the mom didn't.
No, I'm saying if you want the young man a lot of times to listen or to get guidance from his father, but then it would help if the mother looked like, even if she didn't, or let's just say she did. I'm not saying she had to respect him or pull out the red card, but she didn't disrespect him or talk bad. I've seen people sit here and say, well, I don't talk bad to my child about the other parent, but they be on the phone and the parent can hear it. The kids can hear it.
Guess what? He can stop all that by not dogging her out.
I don't know what. It could be different scenarios. They just might not be.
You're going to the effect, not the cause. The cause of her talking like that is because of what he did.
I don't know who did what. Not every guy that don't want to be with a woman is his fault.
Well, guess what? If you don't want to be with her, don't get her pregnant.
Okay. So if she doesn't want to get pregnant, if she winds up pregnant, right? And she's pregnant and she doesn't want the baby, then what does she do? What are our options?
Look, we all know what the options
are. No, I'm asking.
I mean, we already know what those is, but what I taught my son, anybody you lay down with, condom, no, there's the possibility you can get that person pregnant. So that we ain't nobody not. I mean, you got to take responsibility for what you did.
No, I'm not.
A lot of times, I didn't want to get her pregnant. Well, no, you should have laid down with her then.
No, I get it. 1,000.
At this point, both people are adults, and if you want a relationship with your child, then you're going to have to figure out how to interact with that woman.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I agree that, but then some people, for the fact that you don't want to be with them, will make it extra hard. And then what was the thing that I seen? It was like, and the women were like, well, try harder to see your kids. It's like, why do I have to try hard at all if I'm putting in the effort to see? Why the fact that you have to even say that sounds crazy. Just do the right thing.
It's not fair, man. It's not fair. It's not fair.
But when we say it's not fair the other way, he left, and I can say it's not fair. Everybody just do the right thing. Don't make it hard for someone to do the right thing. Why would you make it?
We can agree on that. Everybody should do the right thing. You should think you should, and I'm with you. Hey, you 7 condom and birth control, vasectomy. If you know you don't want to have a baby, then get a vasectomy.
That's a fact.
Leave people alone. Because when you bring children into the world, it's a problem. I do want to clear up. Not that I have to go into the guy's name. He was not cheating on me. That happened before we got together. So he and the Kappas and their Kappa party, that happened, and the girl came through pregnant, and they thought it was a joke. By the time the baby was there and they had the test done, he and I had been going out for a few months and we really were enjoying each other, but he decided to do that and I respected it and I let it go.
I'm curious
Um,
how many tests were taken.
oh, it was quite a few tests.
Woo!
And because you could tell at the point he was heartbroken and he felt like a joke because out of everybody, he ended up
That's
being
how,
the dad. Like, and he said everybody was like, "Woo, thank God it ain't me. Thank God it ain't me." And it ended up being him, and he was really embarrassed. But I respect the fact that he stood up and did the right thing. And no, someone said that he went to jail or I mean that something happened. No, he knew that he said that that girl, when he would talk to her, he would get so angry. Part of it was because she was not a good communicator, right? Because that's not what she was there for. And then the second part of it was he was mad at himself for getting her pregnant. He was resentful and he did not want his son to deal with that. So that I I commend that. And even all these years later, I still remember how that was a sign of manhood to me that I really have not seen very often. But I have heard men say I have several good friends. Even my husband, how he talks about how he went through different things with his daughters and his mom and their mother to try to make sure that he did all he could do to do the right thing. There are people that have done it, right? But I'm just saying, like, in all this craziness, even what we saw with Nicole and her mom, like when a man does something or a woman does something that causes a child, when you cause a child and it comes from a place that's not love, it is your responsibility to figure out either how to take care of that child so that they don't become a penalized for your own mistake and don't feel they're a mistake.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's your job, and that's what it is. It just it really is. And G Dub is right. Damaged people do irresponsible things, but at the point that we create a life, and that life is created from a painful place or a place where there is no love, you got to figure it out because
Yeah,
that child doesn't deserve it.
I'm with that. I just got a problem with always, if it's two people, why is the man always villainized? I'm like, God, leave, man. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. I'm like, every situation. Now,
I but Mo, I mean, I
every
agree. It doesn't like the men give it, but y'all do a lot though.
I get
Y'all
it.
do a lot.
I get it. But then when you wonder why, but that's not the only. I got friends who took care of their kids, who the mother, the dude had the kids. I
I
got
do.
friends
I got something like that too.
the guys that I'm around. That's not dumb. So when I
Right.
hear
No,
these
you're right.
stories, I be like, okay, that's a certain group of guys. But what about these other guys that take the rap? And it's always, if I say right now, you know, I was married. I was married for 6 months. I got divorced. They'd be like, what did you do? I'm the one that ended it. Why did I have to do something? Like, it's automatically, if the relationship went wrong, it's automatically the man's fault. I'm just tired of that. I am.
I feel you, but let me ask you this because it's funny. I remember ooh, when I first went through my divorce, my first and I was single, and a lot of my guy friends, you included, were like, "It's probably going to be hard for you to find a good guy."
I never said that.
One of my, I think I
You,
remember
the other friend of ours who was that he said that.
he said one of my friends said it's going to be very difficult and it's going to take a really long time because there are not that many good guys out there. And then he said there are a lot more good women out there than good men.
That's
And
because there's more women.
I've heard a lot of men say that, and I'm wondering, what do you think about that?
Uh, the older I get, the more I know that's well, two things. There's more women, first of all. Second of all, that's a myth. They just hide it better. It's got a lot more secrets. Trust me, fellas. Man, I know some stuff, boy. And I'm not saying there aren't any good women. There are a lot of good women, but it ain't what you think it is, man. You dig a little deeper, or you go on a couple of them girls trips, you'll find out.
So you're saying it could be more good women just because of the numbers.
Yeah, I mean that's just math. Like that's when people like, well, more. It's more y'all. Of course, there's gonna be more women. There's more women. more good women because there's more women. Duh.
I get that, and I also think that when women become members of the LBC, they also can return back to whence they came. They can come back from whence they came. When men become a part of the LBC, they tend not to come back.
That's the problem I have. I don't think they was already there. They just was going home. They was there. I'm not a believer. Or you could turn somebody because his relationship went bad. I think that's some women stuff. They do that, and I understand that. But men, I don't believe you could just be hurt by a woman so much that you want to try. It's an excuse. I'm not buying it. I'm telling you.
But you think women can?
Obviously, because their stuff isn't tied into how emotional they are and how they feel. I believe that they can. But for a man, no, you've been liking penis for, come on now. You ain't just.
Well, I will say this. So what my point was in the numbers game, women are able to go back and forth.
Right.
So there are a lot of gay women, but a lot of gay women are still entering relationships with men, right? And so we don't have as many men because between the men in jail and then the men that are members of the LGBT, they don't come back. So we're working with a very small percentage.
Yeah, and that percentage, they don't appreciate the small percentage.
Well, a lot of those men have not gotten the therapy and don't know how to communicate. But we are working to stop that. We are working against it. And a lot of them are, but I'm just saying it's been a trend in our community for men not to really be able to communicate well. So I think there's a lot of men that are hurt. They're hurt that don't know how to communicate that. And when it comes, the hurt always comes out when they're in a relationship.
So let me ask you this.
The hurt always comes out then.
So let me ask, okay. So I think that's half of it. I think the other half is when they do express it, like we always say, it gets thrown in their face. That less than whatever said in a safe space will come up later to be used against them. And I experienced it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that.
We're sorry, Mo. This is a safe space for you. And we love when you share, you know?
And even when I told somebody, they turned around and did it too. I'm like, oh, I'm cool. I'd rather be mysterious.
How did they do that? Give us the explanation of how they did it.
Okay. Well, not my explanation on me. This is not me.
Okay.
But this is how it goes, something like this. You're sitting up there, it's the beginning of the relationship, and you guys are sharing. She's telling you, I don't know, she's telling you her uncle touched her. Right? You start to share, and you be like, you know what? I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. Your aunt and grandmother were there, but I didn't have a really good relationship with my mother. She was on drugs. She was never there, so on and so forth. Move forward in the relationship. You're going through something at work. You're not communicating. You're trying to get through whatever. And all of a sudden, you could be cheating. You could be something going on. You're not communicating. And when everything comes out, it's because of your mother. And you be like, what? Oh, because you never talk to your mother. You don't know how to open up to women and so on and so forth. You're like, what? I talk to other women and they will use that against it. It's just like the guy that same guy finds out his woman is cheating, right? And then she goes, see, all that shit your uncle did, and look at you. That started from that. And I don't know any dudes, and every guy done heard that story at least a few times from a woman. And I don't know any, and I've never heard a woman say a guy threw that up in their face. But that other scenario I painted always gets thrown up in that guy's face. And that's real. And I don't think, and I've never heard a woman say it, a guy use that against me, but I've heard guys say a woman use his mother or whatever, his failed communication, whatever, use that against him.
I will say you've heard it for the first time. Your friend, two things have been used against me that I shared. I grew up without my father. You know, my father was a drug addict, and my father OD'd on crack.
Right.
So it has been thrown up where you know you got daddy issues, or you didn't grow up with you don't know what a man is. You didn't have a father. Also, oh my God, I should never tell any guy that I have ever met that my ex-husband cheated on me, because you're just bitter from your, like, men throw things up in women's faces as well. I
Okay.
actually had a guy tell me he did not want to date women that grew up. I've had several guys tell me they would not date women that grew up without their father.
That this is what you you told them this first,
Well, these was on
because
the.
there is a difference. There's a difference.
I've had it happen both ways. I've shared something with a
Okay.
guy and he threw it up later.
I think
And
I think that's bitch stuff. If a guy does that, I think that's whack.
well, there's a lot of them. Let's just say it's a lot of them.
But because what you use now, I will use what I see, but I'm not going to use what you told me in the safe space. That's corny. Don't do that.
Oh, well, trust and believe. A lot of guys, if you tell a guy that you got hurt by another man, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna throw that in your face later.
Specifically,
Yeah,
like,
I'm telling.
okay, yeah, that's whack.
Come on now.
We not. Yeah, that we.
They will say, well, you just treat me, you just because you got hurt. That comes up all the time. I have had men say that, and that's why I started saying,
Stop telling.
I said I'm gonna stop telling them,
Yeah, stop.
they
Because
love to be able to say you just mad because you got hurt, and you don't know how to take, and then they will be doing the same thing.
Women, I apologize if y'all, because this is my first time. I didn't know dudes was doing this, so I apologize if I said I never heard of it, and I just think that's whack. Now
That's because you're not here. Like, I think at the end of the day, men and women both hurt each other.
That's a fact.
That's just the truth. And I think that it's human nature when your back is against the wall to try to pull something out.
I don't like.
And that's how it works.
I don't like that.
Especially when people are hurt. Hurt people. So when a person is hurt, they're going to say whatever they can to hurt the other person. Unfortunately,
I would use what I know. What I
okay, Mo, but you're not the only guy out here dating.
No. What I'm saying is because I don't want to make it look like I haven't used stuff against women. I'm just saying I haven't used what they told me in the safe space. I don't think that's right.
Okay, well, you're using stuff.
Yeah. I'm not innocent. Like, I use what I seen. If I see you do some dirt, then I'm gonna bring up that dirt that I seen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right, but that's what I'm gonna use because I see
it's a different wrong, right? It's a different.
It is, and it's no
different version of wrong.
You know, people come from hurt places, but people be knowing what they're saying.
I think people, when they're hurt, try to get back and hurt other people. And I do know that we're probably better at hurting with our mouths because we don't have the same physical. We're not physically able to hurt as much, right? So a woman's tongue is what she's able to use to hurt a man. When a man raises his voice or stands up over you, it can be intimidating, but a woman can get that tongue and chop you down to size. So
know what the chick told me?
What?
I told you this too. She was like, I didn't want to say it no more. She was like, you know the situation.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
She said, yeah, with your average this and your average this.
Yeah, she was trying to be very hurtful.
It was hilarious because she wanted to be with me. She said all that and was like, can I still stay over here? Can I get a hug? Can I go? I was like, what? Get out my average house.
She was hurt. Yeah, she was hurt. And unfortunately, women do attack a man's livelihood.
I was like, what?
Or a different thing. And men attack a woman. It's just bad. People love is hard, man. People hurt people. It's just rough, man. It's rough. It's rough out here. But I think you're right, G-Dub. Below the belt hurt is not okay. And it's hard though. You know what I mean? Because I remember I learned something in church one time. And I'm so sorry to you guys that we're just totally off of the family empire. We have taken a turn somewhere.
Sorry, y'all. I know y'all.
Sorry, we are not great.
Not y'all people in the live, because y'all people in the live.
They gonna eat us up on the after show.
But the after stuff,
they be pissed. But I think that this pastor told me, my pastor told me something when I was, when I remember it was, no, it was at a marriage retreat that I went to when I was younger. And he said, you know how a paintbrush, when you dip a paintbrush in paint,
Mm-hmm.
fresh coat is exciting, right? You dip it in there and you will try to get that paint out. You'll take it, wash it, try to get that paint out. Really, all the paint never comes out. If you dip your paintbrush in a can of white paint, it never comes out. And he was like, that's really how words are, right? When you say something to hurt a person, no matter how many apologies, no matter how many gifts you buy, those words never really leave that person's spirit, and you have scarred them, right? And so they were telling us this, because in marriage you really should try not to use your words to hurt the other person. But the reality is, it's so hard, because when you're hurt, that's the only recourse you have as a human, is to try to hurt the other person back. So I think that what we've learned today in tonight's conversation is there's a lot of pain on both sides, men and women, right? We do things to each other that hurts. But I think that we have to realize that, especially when there are children or family involved, the
Right.
more you hurt that person, you're inevitably hurting your child. And even if you don't have children, but you have family involved and you're hurting that person, you're also hurting it's just, the hurt is a ripple effect. And so I think that, we just have to remember that and try to do our best, not to take it to that point, because, there's always a point where a lot of times women just want to get a response, to know that they're heard. Sometimes I remember when I was, going through my first situation, I felt so hurt, and the person was very nonchalant, right? I'm learning that a lot of men are able to
I,
be
I,
very nonchalant when it comes to hurt.
I can't do nonchalant.
You are not nonchalant, but there are a lot of men out there that are able to just, sit there like they don't care, and that shit hurts. And so I would try to say something to pierce that. But number one, it didn't pierce it. And it just came back and hurt me more. And so I think that we can listen to each other, and we can just try to be the best people that we can be for ourselves. And then also just be very careful about getting into relationships. Tihu says, I'm a therapist and work with couples. Folks are the meanest things to each other. The hurt and damage is real. Can
Mm,
you give us some solutions, Tihu, since you are a
yeah,
therapist? That would be great. Like, let's
please,
end tonight's conversation with some positivity, um,
please.
from someone who actually does this. So when you see situations like the two things, I'm going to ask you to give us solutions for two things. The situation with Nicole and her mother. You see that the mother has a lot of pain, that I just wish that we could give her a hug, and she could just share, just give voice to her pain, because you could see it on her face. And then number two, we've been talking all night about just children, right? And what happens to children in those situations. In that situation with Nicole and her mother, a child was birthed out of infidelity.
Mm.
That is got to be one of the most hurtful things. Infidelity hurts, but when a child comes from it, I can't imagine that pain. So I would just love for you to give us some first steps or something that we could share with everybody tonight before we get off, so we don't end on a hurtful note.
Please, please,
Please
please.
help us, to you, because I think this is good that we get stuff out here, but I always want to end it with a positive solution.
I
So
have
we
a question for you. So I had a friend who did 6 years in jail, right? Well, he only had to do three and a half, but he was
okay.
sentenced to 6. He did 3.5. In the middle of his 3.5 bid, this girl got pregnant by another guy who he knew,
Mm.
but she was still coming on the visit with the other baby, with pregnant, pardon me, in the whole nine. And she had the baby. And his thing was, she held me down for the 3 years,
Hmm.
and she said it was something that happened. These guys, like I said, they knew each other. And he came home and he dealt with her. They wind up later on separating, but he stayed for like 2 years after he got out of jail.
Mm.
And the baby.
I mean, I think sometimes people stay in situations because of how they see themselves. Um, because I think when someone is cheating on you and disrespecting you, sometimes we don't feel good enough about ourselves to realize we deserve better. Dolly Allah asked me, Crystal, how did you heal from that after having children with someone so nonchalant about the hurt they caused? Woo! First of all, it took a long time. Um, but I think the only way I was able to find closure and healing was to understand that I had to give it to myself, because that person never, to this day, has never had a conversation. We've never had a conversation about the pain, never had a true apology for the depth of the pain that was caused. And I had to find the closure and the healing on my own. And I also had to learn how to parent as a sole parent, because that person was not open to working with me to parent. So I had to realized that, after 13 years, things had changed and that person was no longer a part of the family. And it felt very much like a death. And I had to look at them as dead. And one of my friends told me that, not Mo, it was another friend of mine. He said, Crystal, you really are just going to have to, in your head, realize that the person that you were married to is dead and that they're not coming back, and you've got to let it go. And that's the only way I was able to do it. And then I was able to, I got into some therapy, but I had to kill that person in my head, so that I could move forward. And so I wouldn't be sitting around waiting for him to give me closure. And so that's the best advice I can give people. Don't wait for closure from somebody else, because there are a
Mm,
lot of people that won't give you closure because
mm.
they don't care. They do not care. And it's a lot easier to not care about someone when you have moved on, and you get the jump on them. Whoever gets the jump on the other person and disconnects, that person don't care about giving you closure.
I
And
think some people
mm-mm.
don't care, and I think there's another group of people that they're just too afraid. They don't want to deal with it. They don't know how to address. That it's almost just a coward mentality. Like they don't want to have to stand in the room and face what they did. You know what I mean?
And at the end, that equals don't care. Because if you don't care enough to inconvenience
Now,
yourself, then you just don't care.
I
Yeah.
think the people that they deal with their own, they deal with it. Like you might not know it, but if they doing something, I'm talking about the people that do care but don't know how to do. Like they suffering, like they're whether they cry, whether they have their
Mhm.
moments. I guarantee you, it's like anything you've done that you know that's foul.
Yeah.
You don't please people. Don't think these people ain't catching it. You know what I'm saying? You might not be. I know you want to see it. I know
But you
we
gotta
all
let
want to
go
see
of that too. You gotta let go of it, because you may never see it. Sometimes you just want to. You're like, how could you hurt me this way, and why would you? But I also had to stop asking why and realize, as my grandmother would say, life isn't fair. Get over it. Life is not fair.
it.
It's
Ooh,
not.
that's a tough
And
one.
and a person can shoot you, and you have to deal with your bleeding. You have to clean up your blood. You have to go through physical rehabilitation. They don't have to do anything. And if they don't get caught, they don't even have to be accountable for what they did. It is your responsibility to heal yourself. And that is the hardest lesson that I learned in my first divorce, is that you have to heal yourself. Nobody is responsible for helping you heal. Unfortunately, even when they did it to you. And it works like that in real life. So when children go through pain, or are raped or molested, it is up to that victim to get help for themselves. And
Mm,
that's just, life is not fair, but that's just how
tough
it
one.
is.
Yeah. Woo.
Who says, I ask people to put themselves in the other person's shoes. Also, I help them understand that their anger is really about sadness, shame, and guilt. That is so true. They have to be able to name their hurt. It is really sad. I've learned that when people are sad, especially us Black people, we don't like to be sad. We turn it immediately into anger. And when you see a person that's very angry all the time, that's usually a very sad person,
Mm.
because it is easier. The emotion of anger feels stronger than sadness. We've been taught that sadness is weakness. And so we immediately turn our sadness into anger and into aggression and into um, defensiveness. And really, it's just that there's a sad, broken little girl or a little boy in there that's scared, you know, and animals, when they are scared, they are the most dangerous. And I believe that's the case with people as well. An
Mm,
insecure, scared person will hurt you every time.
mm.
Every time. Tamashi says, I wish my children's father apologized before he passed. I had to get healing through prayer because he wasn't accountable enough for us. I had to heal. Praise God. Very much so. Like, I think God is the only way to do it, because you cannot wait. Don't wait on nobody to give you closure. And you know how I know? Because because I took what my ex-husband did to me, because I felt like he was so strong. For years I wished I was more like him, because here I was crying and hurt and sad, and he was moved on with his life. And I saw lots of men do that. I've only seen men do that. I've never seen a man really be hurt over a good woman. I've only seen men hurt over bad women. And good women, they don't, to me, I have not seen a man be hurt over a good woman. I've never seen a man cry over a good woman. He only cries over a horrible woman. And so I had to learn how to get over it for myself. And I think everybody has to do that. Like, you have to learn how not to wait on someone to give you closure, even if you are 100% right. Like, that, they don't do it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we don't even see men hurt, period. Like, they don't show us. They're just very different. You know, I wish I was a man.
They are hurt. You know a few.
I don't know none.
Well,
But
actually, you do.
the crazy thing is, you know, so in saying that, I have met some guys that I'm being facetious, but I have met some that hurt. But so I learned, I started mimicking that behavior, right? Because I felt like they were better, they were stronger. And so I remember I broke things off with this guy because he did something. He was married, and I found out he was married, and I immediately cut it off. And he was like, "You're going to need closure." I was like, "Closure? You don't know who I am." I was taught by the best. I don't need closure. You know,
Well,
I started,
sometimes that's how those men got there. They just
yeah,
for you.
I started becoming a beast, and was until very recently, because I could walk away from anybody without care, because I had been hurt so bad. I learned how to hurt them back. And I was like, you must not know who I am. I don't need no closure. I could tell you goodbye tomorrow. I won't think about you the next day. And that was the bad Crystal. You know, Crystal needed some help, but because that wasn't the right way to handle it. But that also did help me to at least be able to move forward. But then I had to go back and relearn that. So anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Like, you know, we I think in order to be, this guy told me something, and I remember I was so mad. I was so mad at him when in fact, I think I got up and left the date, because he said, you're not ready to be in love again unless you're ready to get your heart broken. And I left the date because I was mad. But that's the truth, you know?
I get what he was saying. I get it. It's
Yeah.
just you got to be willing to take a chance. That's all that means.
Well, you got to be willing to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
because I was not putting myself out there. I was not letting anybody get deep. And I was mimicking what I saw guys do. I was hanging out with Mo and all these guys, and I was like, I'm gonna be like them. And I was for a long time. And then, damn it, I got soft again. Damn it, man. I got soft again. But I think that, you know, I don't know if men see that part, but as a woman looking at them, I was like, wow, I want to be like that. I want to not care. I want to be nonchalant and look a person in the face when they're crying and not give a damn. I want to
Usually,
be like that.
that person wasn't all the way there like you thought they were, or they've been out of it longer than you think.
Yeah.
And like when a woman breaks up with you, when they get up the thing and they end it, it been over.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. But
We're
I
gonna
don't
eat
want to,
that.
huh?
No, go ahead. What are you saying?
Now I said I don't want to. Can we talk about the thing? Because this is like sad.
It is sad.
I want to talk about the event tomorrow. We got a big
Oh
day.
yeah, the event. Man, after all this horrible talk about dating, come out and find one tomorrow.
Word. Hey,
Come out and find all the no, seriously. Because I mean there's anything worth having is, is gonna be some work.
there you go.
It's gonna be some work. Aaron is coming.
Yes.
Aaron is coming. We have some guys. I have some eligible bachelors coming. Mo has a bevy of eligible bachelorettes coming as well.
That's what's up. Our friend might be coming. I gotta call him tomorrow.
Ooh.
John.
Oh my gosh. He can't. He's not a bachelor.
No, he just coming to hang out. I don't know what his. I didn't even ask him what his situation. His son is 13 now. Yeah, that's how.
We're old. Dang.
But in any case, but now listen. Tomorrow is a big day for us. This is our first speed dating event entitled "Love Connection XO." If you are in Atlanta or the surrounding areas, we're gonna go live a couple times tomorrow. We're gonna go live
We'll go live a few times. But tune in because Mo and I are going to go live on IG tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about what's gonna happen that night, and we may have a few surprises. Some of the guys that are gonna be there, some of the ladies may hop on. So you guys tune in for that, and then of course we're definitely, for those of you that are not here in Atlanta, we will definitely have some stuff for you guys to see, so that you can feel that you're a part of it. Every second Saturday of the month, we are doing Love Connection XO at ATL. So if you are, now we put the link in the chat for people to RSVP. Let me try to do that again. Let me put the link in the chat for the RSVP. We are going to bring this to other states. We got to lock it down here in Atlanta first. But we are definitely going to be bringing this on the road in 2025.
There you go.
So definitely look out for that. I'm going to put the link here in the chat. If you guys are here, don't be here and don't come hang out with us tomorrow night. Now, don't do that. Don't you do that.
Don't do that.
Don't you do it. If you're here and you are in Atlanta, now ATL is 10 minutes from the airport, which means it is very accessible from wherever.
It's a nice spot. I ain't going to hold you.
Whatever part of town you're in, you can definitely come to ATL. I'm putting the RSVP in the chat. You don't have to RSVP. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
But you can.
But just to make sure you get a table, right? That's what it's for.
That's to make sure that you have a table. Because you know how we are. I know for me and my girls, we like to sit down.
Yeah, there you go.
I got some girls that like to walk around, let you see what they're working with. But right. I like to sit down because, they're going to see.
Hold up. Is that what they be doing?
Yeah, you didn't know that? You did not know that that's why girls walk around? At 53 years of age, you did not know that that's why girls are walking around going to the bathroom to let y'all see the wagon that they're dragging? Are you serious?
I kind of didn't. I don't know. I don't think I knew that.
I love that I taught you something tonight.
So y'all be really scheming anyway. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have one girlfriend and she has a quite impressive wagon. And she would not sit down.
If it's who I think it is, yes, she does.
She would not sit down. She will always be up. And we were sitting at a table one time, we had went on a cutie run. That's what I did when I was single, to just, go on a cutie run to pick up a couple of quick spaces for the roster,
See how they be setting stuff? Guys, don't be falling for that. Oh, it's just coincidence. Her friend then got up, turned around, and knocked everybody's glass off the table.
So his guy came over to talk, and she wanted to make sure that she was the one that he picked. So she got up and moved around, and she has quite an impressive wagon. So we gave it to her.
Mother.
Yeah, thank you, Kanisha. That's literally the only reason we stand up. Our feet are hurting. True. Because you got to know sometimes. And then also, I'm just going to we know that there's like a walk, like when you got a confident walk, guys like watching it, and we like to let you watch. So we'll get up and walk to the bathroom in the heels. Yeah.
Y'all
Now
sneaky.
I'm gonna do one good walk and I'm gonna sit down. But I do know I do have friends that will continue the walk. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, everybody told me they was coming. They confirmed. Some few people hit me up yesterday. They said they are coming.
I want to see everybody
I
in
don't
the
want all
building.
the women coming. I just want my guy friends and so on and so
Yeah,
forth. So
we'll have women. I can't wait. It's gonna be good. We can't wait to share with you guys and then talk about it on Wednesday for
yeah,
dating diaries.
yeah, yeah. We might even have some people that were there that didn't even win the thing.
Yeah, we just and yeah, you don't have to if you're not ready to speed date, just come hang out.
No, no, no. I'm talking about like on the show
Oh,
Wednesday,
on the show, absolutely.
just to
On
just
the show. So free Seagram's escapes from 7 to 8. Delicious peach bellini, Jamaica me crazy, which is like a pina colada, and then there's a mixed berry flavor. The food is good. I am in love with their fried Brussels sprouts. It's what I do every time. I'll be doing it again, and they do these salmon by. It's just really good food.
lamb chops, all kind. They got
All good stuff. Yes, Jamaica me happy. Yes, it's
they got a patio. You can't smoke cigars out there,
you
fellas.
can
I
smoke
love
hookah out there,
hookah
whatever you want. Just come hang out. Ladies, put your sundresses on because that's what we know that men like to look at, you know,
with no
and
draws.
put a little. Well, I believe in wearing. If you want to have the movement of no underwear, then just put on a G string.
There
But
you go.
have some coverage. Okay, have some coverage.
That's sanitary. Yes.
Have some coverage there. Um, and put on some heels and get your toes done and let's have a good time. Let's commune as the XO family and get some good positive dating stories locked in. Like let's
Yeah.
so we can have some positivity for next week. Okay.
Fellas, get to smell good. Get to I got
Yes.
a by the way. But I'm getting my massage tomorrow, you know. Yeah.
You know what?
Get the clothes out the cleaners if you ain't already got it.
Get your bright sundress on, girl. Have you a color that looks good on that melanated skin, and let's go. It's gonna be a good time. We love you all for watching. We love you all for being a part of this. Again, our apologies to the
Yeah,
people
I'm sorry.
watching the replay.
Right.
We got off track,
All
but
right.
it's also because we have an event tomorrow and we just talking about relationships. I had a lot of stuff happening with my week with Essence. You guys, I got bit by a spider at Essence. Okay, I had to go get a shot for that.
Ooh,
Just
New Orleans
got
spider.
a
Woo.
lot going on. Okay, it's been a rough week. Have some grace for your girl. But
Yeah.
I'll be back. We're gonna have a good time tomorrow. We'll send you guys pictures. And we will see you guys on. I think we need to do something on Monday, but we'll let you guys know. Make sure you're subscribed, right?
Yep.
Before you get out of here, make sure you love this conversation, heart the conversation, leave us a comment, and we will see you guys right back here next week. But those of you guys that are here in Atlanta, we will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. at ATL.
There we go.
Bye.
Y'all be easy.